Welcome to this session on must-do sets for CAT LRDI preparation. Today we'll be looking at games and tournaments. Now, a lot of students end up spending a lot of time on these problems. Games and tournaments, at least the way it is usually presented in mocks, etc., has not come up in CAT for a long period of time. That said, you would still have to understand some part of the general formats which are there for games and tournament type of questions, because they are very useful in case-based questions as well as optimization-based questions. So today we will be looking at the basic formats of games and tournaments questions, round robin format, knockout format. We'll also look at one part which is the points table. Now these type of questions form the basis of all your cases, max min sort of questions which are asked in CAT very, very frequently. If you are running short of time, obviously you can skip to the relevant sets. Each of the videos which you'll be releasing will have links available in the description where if you click on it, you can skip to the relevant set. So let us see what the set says. Not a lot of data as such, and if you look at the problems, it says the team that defeated are, it looks like a definite sort of a question. I mean, looks like once you spend some time, you'll get all the 4 answers straight away. Okay, let's see. In a sports event, 6 teams A to F are competing against each other. Matches are scheduled in 2 stages. So you have 6 teams competing against each other. So there will be 6C2, which is 15 matches overall. Each team plays 3 matches in stage 1 and 2 matches in stage 2. So there is a stage 1, there is a stage 2. Right, 3 matches for each team and 2 matches for each team in the second round. No team plays against the same team more than once. Okay, so and no ties are permitted. So no ties. Okay, the observations are given here, stage 1 and stage 2. So you have information about some who won, who lost, who won, who lost, who won, who lost in both stage 1 and stage 2. And look at the type of questions to check what we need to do. The 2 teams that defeated stage 1, the only 2 teams which won both the matches in stage 2, team that won exactly 2 matches in the event, teams that have most wins in the event are. So you basically have to figure out how many, who won and against who in which stage and overall in the event as well. There is no mention for points as such, so just win and loss is good enough to figure out. Okay, so let's create a simple table. I've done this. So stage 1 has 3 matches, stage 2 has 2 matches. We have to figure out who won and lost. All right. Stage 1, okay, let's try this. One team won all the 3 matches. So there is one team which has 3 wins and 0 losses. Okay. 2 teams lost all their matches. So there are 2 teams which have 0 wins and 3 losses. 0 wins and 3 losses. Okay. D lost to A but won against C and F. D lost to A. So D lost to A but won against C and F, which means A beat D. Right, A beat D. So this is taken care of. E lost to B. E lost to B. B beat it. B beat E. E lost to B. But won against C and F. Won against C and F. Okay, so E is also done. B lost at least 1 match. B lost at least 1 match. So B cannot be this 3 wins, 0 loss. B cannot be that team. Okay, let's look at C. C has lost against D as well as E. Similarly, F has also lost against D as well as E. So B cannot be the 3 wins, 0 losses team. C and F cannot be because they have both lost all their matches. Because they've lost their 2 matches that we know of. And D and E also have lost 1 match each. So the only team which can win all the 3 matches would be A in the first round. In the first round, this is the team which won 3, lost 0. So A is the team which is here. Okay, can we identify the team which lost all the 3 matches. There are 2 teams which lost all the 3 matches, right? Which means they will have 0 wins. Now, A, B, D, and E already have a win each, which means C and F are the ones which lost all 3 matches. So C is and F, they have 3 losses each. So all the matches that they played have been lost. Now let's proceed further. Okay, B lost at least 1 match. Okay, who will B lose against? D has finished all its matches. E has lost. He has finished all his matches. 3 matches. 3 matches. Right. C and F have lost all their matches. So B cannot lose against C or F. So the only team B can lose against is A. So B will lose against A, and A will beat B. Okay, so this is done. The last statement says F did not play against the top team of stage 1. So F, even though F has 1 match left, so F cannot play against the top team. So F has already played against D and E. It cannot play it again. F will lose the 3rd match, which means F cannot play against C also, because C also lost all the matches. F cannot play against A, which means F's 3rd match will be against against B for Bombay, and it will lose that match. So the 3rd match is against B. This will be F. Now what is left? Left are C's 3rd match. Now C, the only team which is not left, which has not completed 3 matches, is A. So A will basically beat C also, and C will lose to A as well. So I know the first round results right now. Let's proceed to the second round. All right. Now let's see what happens in second stage. Second stage, the leader of stage 1 lost the next 2 matches. Leader is A. It will lose the remaining 2 matches. So no wins in the second round. It will lose the remaining 2 matches. Who does he have to play? He has to play B, C, D. He has to play against E and F. So it lost to E as well as F. So E will win against A. F will also win against A. E and F both win against A. Of the 2 teams at the bottom of stage 1, one won both the matches, other lost both the matches. Okay. Now F has won one of the matches, right? So it will also win the other match, because it says one of the 2 teams. C and F were bottom at the end of stage 1 because they had lost all their matches. One of them will win both the matches, other will lose both the matches, right? So now only one can be F, because F won 1 match against A. So F's 3rd match, the last match, will also be a win. Who he has to play? A, B, C, right? So C lost to F. Okay, what is C's last match? A, B. B will be the last match. So B beat C. That we know for sure. Okay, and the last one says one more team lost both the matches in stage 2. It has to lose both the matches in stage 2. Now A has lost both the matches, C has lost both the matches. It says one more team. Who can be the other team? It cannot be F, cannot be E, because both of them have won 1 match each. F has won actually 2 matches. E also has won 1 match. So it has to be D. D has to lose both the matches. Who will D play against? A is gone, so he will play against B and E. So E will beat D also, and B will also beat D. No losses here, no losses here, no losses here. Right, so I have the results for the second stage as well. I know everything. Let's go to the question and solve. All right, first one says the 2 teams that defeated the leader of stage 1 are, the 2 teams which defeated are E and F. E and F, option B. Question number 2, the only team that won both the matches in stage 2. Stage 2, who won both the matches? B won both the matches, E won both the matches, F won both the matches. B, E, F, option D. Question number 3. Teams that won exactly 2 matches in the event. They should win overall only 2 matches. Right? A has won 3 matches. So A is out. A cannot be in the answer. So you have D, E, F. Okay. Let's look at D. B has won 4 matches. A has won 3 matches. C has won 0 matches overall. D has won 2 matches. E has won 2 plus 2, 4 matches. And F has won 2 matches. So the teams which have won exactly 2 matches in the events are D and F. Option E. And the last one, the teams with the most wins in the event is or are. Teams with the most win, we have already tabulated. B has won 4 matches. E has won 4 matches. They are the biggest ones. So option E will be our correct choice. Moderate level question. You need to first realize what you need to calculate. We had to spend some time realizing what we need to calculate based on the questions and what is the information available. Tabulate it slowly. In an exam situation, maybe about 8 minutes, max 10 minutes tops to do this particular set. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Click on the notifications button so that you are notified when we are releasing our next set of videos. Please do like and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. If you want to connect with us, you can connect with us through WhatsApp and Telegram as well. All the relevant links are available in the description of this particular video. So, this has a reasonable amount of data, and you have each questions which has if. So each one is a case by case basis, as is the case with most games and tournaments problem. Let's see what this says. In the table below, the listing of players seeded from highest to lowest, who are due to play in the Association of Tennis Players ATP tournament for women. The tournament had 4 knockout rounds before the final. That is first round, second round, quarterfinals, semifinals, and then there's the final. So there are 5. 2 to the power 5 gives you 32 players. So you have round 1, round 2, quarterfinals, semifinals, and then the finals. Right. The highest seeded player plays the lowest seeded player, seed number 1, which is designated match number 1 of the first round. Second seeded player plays the 31st seeded player, designated as match number 2. So match number 1 is 1 versus 32. Second will be 2 versus 31. Third will be 3 versus 30. And so on till match 16 will be 16 versus 17. Right? You can easily calculate this. 1 plus 32 is 33. 2 plus 31 is 33. 3 plus 30 is 33. 3 plus 30 is 33, and so on. Right. For instance, the match number 16, the first round is played between 16th and the 17th seed player. That's what we figured out. In the second round, the winner of match number 1 of the first round plays winner of match number 16, designated match number 1 of the second round. Similarly, match number 2 plays the winner of match number 15 of the first round, designated at match number 2. Thus, for instance, match 8 of the second round is played between the winner of match number 8 of the first round and winner of match number 9 of the first round. Now, assuming that the top 16 people win, the top 16 seeds win, that's the point of a seeding, you are expecting them to be winning. That's why they are higher seeded. So 1 to 16 will go away. 1 to 16 will be available. 17 to 32 will go away. So 1 will play 16, 2 will play 15, 3 will play 14, and so on till 8 will play 9. Again, assuming the top 8 people win, you'll have 1 playing 8, 2 playing 7, 3 playing 6, 4 playing 5. Assuming the top 4 win, you'll have 1 playing 4, 2 playing 3. Assuming the top 2 win, 1 will play against 2. This is the pattern in which the tournament is decided. Obviously, if 32 wins in the first round, then he will play 16 in the second round, assuming 16 wins, and so on. He will take the place of 1 in the following round. Once the seed is set, once the seeding is set, you will not, and once the tournament format is set, you will not alter just because of the matches. The only thing is the person who beats a higher seeded player will end up winning in the next as well, will take his place. Okay, nothing much to do as such. All the 32 players are named. We have each question. Let's look at each of them one by one and try to solve them. Question number 1 says there are no upsets where a lower seeded player being a higher seeded player in the first round and only match 6, 7, 8 of the second round result in an upset. Who would meet Lindsay Davenport in the quarterfinal in case Davenport reaches the quarterfinal? Now, given that there are no upsets and Davenport is ranked 2, in quarterfinal, she is expected to meet a person ranked 7. Right. Now, in the first round, there are no upsets. So all the 16 people come up. Right. But in round 2, matches 6, 7, and 8 will result in upsets. So which means instead of 8, 9 will take 8's place. Instead of 7, 10 will take 7's place. Instead of 6, 11 will take 6's place. So 10, instead of 7 in the quarterfinal, person who is ranked 10th or seeded 10th will come up in the quarterfinal. Who is ranked 10th? Rank 10 is Venus Williams. Option 4 is your correct choice. Question number 2. If Elena Dementieva and Serena Williams lose in the second round, so person ranked 8 and person ranked 6 lose in the second round. So in the second round, 6 loses, 8 loses. While Justine Anna and Nadia Petrova make it to the semifinals. Justine Anna is 7th and Nadia Petrova is 9th. They will reach the semifinals. Right? Who would play Maria Sharapova in the quarterfinals? Maria Sharapova is rank 1. Right? 1 is supposed to play 8 in the quarterfinals. Right? But we know 8 has lost already. Serena Williams has lost already. 8. Right? Where did she lose? She lost in the second round. Who did she play against? Either 9 or somebody who would have beaten 9 in the first round. If 9 did not make it to the second round, somebody could have beaten 9. But who is 9? 9 is actually Nadia Petrova. Petrova has reached the semifinals, which means we know that she won in the first round. She also won in the second round, that is given. She would actually end up winning in the third round also or quarterfinal because she is reaching the semifinal. So actually Petrova will beat Sharapova and in the quarterfinal, Petrova will play Sharapova. Option 3 will be your correct choice. Question number 3. If in the first round, all even numbered matches and none of the odd number matches result in upsets. So all odd numbered players go according to rank. So 1, 3, 5, 7 till 15 win. And all even numbered matches end in upsets. So 2 loses, 4 loses, 6 loses till 16 loses. So only odd numbered players are left now. 31, 29 till 17. Only these people are left. Only odd numbered players are left. There are no upsets in the second round. So again, 1, 3, 5, 7 will win. But who else will be there? Only the higher ranked players will be left. So it was supposed to be 2 versus 15. Now in an ideal scenario, 2 would have beaten 15 and would have gone to the quarterfinal. But 2 was defeated by 31. So 31 came into round 2, but there are no upsets in round 2. So 31 will lose in round 2, 15 will proceed to the next round. Similarly, 13 will proceed. Similarly, 11 will proceed and 9 will proceed. Right? So you'll have 7, 15, 13, 11 and 9. These 4 people will proceed to the next round. Now, the question is, who could be the lowest seeded player facing Maria Sharapova in the semi-finals? Now, Maria Sharapova is supposed to play against 4. Right? But 4 got knocked out in the first round itself. So whoever knocked out 29, right? Or could have beaten 29, person who could have beaten 29 would end up with in the semi-final? Now let's see in the previous round. In the previous round, 4 was supposed to play 5. 4 was supposed to play 5. Right? And in the round before that, instead of 4, you would have 29 coming in, but 29 will lose. Instead of 5 coming in, 5 would be there. Right? Who would it 29 lose to? 29 will lose to 13. Right? So either instead of 4, you will have 13 coming in and 5 will anyways proceed. So you could have either had 5 or 13 in the quarterfinal. Whoever wins here will play against Maria Sharapova. We want the lowest seeded player. So we'll take 13. 13 is Anastasia Miskina. Option 1 will be our correct choice. And the last one, if the top 8 seeds make it to the quarterfinal. So this is how the quarterfinals are proceeding. Then who among the listed players would definitely not play against Maria Sharapova in the final in case Sharapova reaches the final? Right. So everyone can play everyone else only at a given stage. So 1 will be 1 versus 8, 2 versus 7, 3 versus 6, 4 versus 5. Here it will be 1 versus 4. Instead of 4, you could have 5. Instead of 4, you could have had 5. Right? You could have 2 versus 3. So instead of 2, you could have 7. 2 or 7 versus 3 or 6. And in the final, you could have 1 versus any of these 4. So only these 4 people can meet. Only these 4 people can meet Maria Sharapova in the final. 2, 3, 7 and 6. 2, 3, 7 and 6. Only these 4 people can meet Maria Sharapova in the final. Anyone else cannot meet Maria Sharapova in the final. They have to meet her before that itself. Alright, so Lindsay Davenport is out. Amelie Mauresmo would definitely not play. So Lindsay Davenport can play. Amelie Mauresmo can play. Elena Dementivia can play in the final. Kim Clijsters cannot play Maria Sharapova in the finals. Kim Clijsters is ranked 4th. She can play her only in the semi-finals. Option 3 will be a correct choice. It's a pretty straightforward set on games and tournaments, specifically round robin 1. Now the key point to understand in this is basically how the tournament progresses. It's a standard format these days on how the tournament progresses. The second key point is to understand that everyone meets everyone else only at a pre-designated place. Just because there is an upset, you cannot change the entire tournament format. You are supposed to meet another person only at a designated place. Right? So you cannot meet that person before that particular round. You cannot meet that person after that particular round. Only at a given round, you will be able to meet that particular person. A lot of students miss out on good B schools because they simply don't apply and they are ignorant. They don't do any research beyond the IIMs and they are more worried about their profile and academics, etc., rather than actually getting into a good B schools and making a career in the management field. If you would like personalized B school assistance, all you need to do is fill up the Google document. Link is available in the description of this video and we'll send you individual B school recommendations which fit your profile and your career aspirations. So this is a question which is on knockout tournament, but the information is given in a slightly different manner. Let's see what this says. For the final stages of Champions League Football Championship, 8 teams, Barcelona, Bayern Munich, Juventus, Liverpool, Manchester City, Napoli, PSG and Real Madrid qualified. All the 8 teams participated in the quarterfinals, with the winners of the quarterfinals participating in the semifinals. The winners of the semifinals participated in the final, and the winner of the final was declared the winner of the championship. Okay, so it's a knockout tournament. The following table gives the total goals scored for and total goals scored against each team in all the knockout stages of the championship. Okay, so in all the matches that Barcelona played, it basically scored 1 goal and conceded 3 goals. Right. Bayern Munich basically scored 7, conceded 6. Juventus scored 2, conceded 3. Liverpool scored 1, conceded 2, and so on. Right. And then you have additional information like at least each team scored at least 1 goal in every match. In each match, the team that scores the greater number of goals wins. That is the case. There are no matches that ended in a tie. That is, both teams scored equal number of goals. Okay. And you have the questions, which is like, what is the maximum number of goals? Who's the winner of the tournament? Which of the following is the greatest margin of victory? And what is the largest number of goals scored by Bayern Munich in all the matches that it won? So you have to figure out the score for each of the match. So let us depict the sequence of the events. So these are your quarterfinal rounds. A plays B, C versus D, E versus F, and so on. The winner goes here. These two people clash. Right, the winner goes here, and this is your final. Similarly, from this side, these two people clash in the semi-final, reaches the final. The winner here wins. Okay, so the only information that we have to decipher this is that each team scored at least 1 goal in every match that it played, and there are no draws. Right. So let's think about it. The winner, the final winner, will win 3 matches. The final winner will win 3 matches. He will win the quarterfinal, he'll win the semi-final, he'll win the final. Right. So we know in each match, the team with the greater number of goals win. Right. So if you were to look at the goal difference, goal for versus goal against, right, this will be positive for a winner in one match and negative for a loser in a match. Right. So if a winner has to win 3 matches, he has to have positive goal difference in each of the 3 matches. He'll need to have positive goal difference in each of the 3 matches. Right. He will have a positive goal difference in each of the 3 matches, which also means that his overall goal difference will be at least +3. His overall goal difference will be at least 3. Right? It can be 5, it can be 6, depending on how well or how badly he wins. But his goal difference has to be at least 3. Okay, so let's see if we can find the winner of the tournament. Barcelona, the goal difference is -2. Bayern Munich is +1. Juventus is -1. Liverpool is -1. Manchester City is +2. Napoli is +1. PSG is -3. And Real Madrid is +3. Now we already know that Real Madrid has to be the winner. Why? Because Real Madrid is the only team which has a goal difference of 3 or more. All the other teams have a goal difference of less than 3. Right? So you can straight away say Real Madrid won the tournament. Very happy because Real Madrid is my team, is the winner. We can also answer one of the questions. Who was the winner of the tournament? Option B is your correct choice. Okay, so now this is a very nice breakthrough, because if we combine it with the first statement, we know each team scored at least 1 goal in every match that it played. What does it mean? That even if you win a match, you will still be conceding 1 goal. So against Real Madrid, there will be at least 3 goals conceded. Right. You can win 3-2, you can win 3-1, you can win 4-2, you can win 5-1, 5-2, but whatever it is, you cannot win 2-0 or 1-0. Right. At least 1 goal Real Madrid has to concede. Right. Now if you observe Real Madrid's for and against, right, against there are 3 goals, right, and Real Madrid has to play 3 matches: the quarterfinal, the semi-final, and the final. Right. So we know that each team now has to score 1 goal against Real Madrid. So whoever Real Madrid plays against, the other team is going to score 1 goal. Right. Now continuing in this manner, because we know that no match ends in a draw, right? Because Real Madrid wins, Real Madrid has to win by at least 2-1. It can win 3-1, it can win 4-1, and so on, right? But it will win by at least 2-1, right? If I again extend this, all 3 matches, the total number of goals is 6, right? So each match which was won by Real Madrid was won by 2-1. Now let us identify what is going to happen, who is going to play against who. We know Barcelona, Juventus, Liverpool and PSG lose in the first round. Now Real Madrid has won the first round match 2-1, right? So the only team which loses 2-1 in the first round is Liverpool. So we know Liverpool plays against Real Madrid in the first round. So we have taken care of all Liverpool's matches. All Liverpool's matches we have taken care of. Okay, now let's see what happens in the second round. We'll start with Real Madrid and then we'll fill up all the other parts, because we don't know who PSG played against, we don't know who Manchester City played against, who Bayern Munich played against, who Barcelona played against. So let's look at Real Madrid. We know Real Madrid also won the second round 2-1. Now, because these 4 teams, Barcelona, Juventus, Liverpool and PSG lost in the first round, we know Bayern Munich, Juventus, Manchester City, Napoli and Real Madrid went to the second round. Now, who can Real Madrid play against in the second round? Now, if Real Madrid plays against Bayern Munich, right, Real Madrid will defeat Bayern Munich 2-1, right? So what is Bayern Munich score in the first round? So from 7-6, if I take out 1 and subtract 2, right, it will be 6 and this will be 4. So Bayern Munich should win the first round 6-4. Now nobody loses the first round 6-4. Manchester City overall is 6-4, but nobody loses in the first round 6-4. PSG lost 1-4, Barcelona lost 1-3, Real Madrid beat this 2-1 and so on. So you cannot have Bayern Munich playing against Real Madrid in the second round. So Bayern Munich will be in the opposite half. We know that for sure. Now, can Manchester City play against Real Madrid in the first round? If Manchester City plays against Real Madrid in the second round, right, it will score 1, concede 2, which means in the first round it should win 5-2. Again, nobody wins 5-2 in the first round, right? So which means Manchester City also goes over here. Manchester City will be playing against Bayern Munich in the semi-finals. So who is the one left now? Napoli is the one left. So Napoli beat somebody, right, and reached Real Madrid, met Real Madrid in the semi-finals and lost 2-1 in the semi-finals. Now what will be the score of Napoli in the first round? Napoli lost 2-1. At the end of the tournament it was 4-3. Conceded 1, scored 1, conceded 2. So this will be 1, this will be 3. So Napoli beat somebody 3-1 in the first round. Who lost 3-1 in the first round? Barcelona lost 3-1 in the first round. So we know Barcelona was the one who came. Barcelona was the one who was there against Napoli in the first round. So you have 3-1 to Napoli. Okay, so you have Manchester City now, who will play against somebody, proceed, and then you have Bayern Munich play against somebody and proceed to the next round. So you have taken care of Napoli's matches, we have taken care of Barcelona's matches. Now, let's try to fix the remaining first round matches, because once we do that, I think we should be able to solve the rest of the set as well. The 2 losers in the first round are PSG and Juventus, right? So the matches can be Manchester City plays Juventus, Bayern Munich plays PSG, or the other way around. Manchester City plays Juventus, Bayern Munich plays PSG. Bayern Munich plays Juventus. So if Manchester City plays Juventus and Bayern Munich plays PSG, let's see what is going to happen. Manchester City has to win this match, so it will win 3-2. Right. So in the remaining two matches, right, at most two matches, it will score 6-4 minus 3-2. It will be 3-2. Net scores will be 3-2. Right, it will score 3 times and concede 2 times. Okay, and as for Bayern Munich has to beat PSG. It will beat PSG 4-1. PSG lost 4-1. Right, so in the remaining two matches, up to 2 matches, the net score will be 3 and 5. So let's see what can be the result of the Manchester City Bayern Munich match. Right, so in the remaining matches, Bayern Munich has to score 3, concede 5. Similarly, Manchester City has to score 3, concede 2. Now, if Bayern Munich beats Manchester City, Manchester City will not play any more matches. Which means 3-2 should be the score in the semi-final. But if Manchester City scored 3 and conceded 2 in the semi-final, Manchester City will win, not the other way around. Right, so Bayern Munich cannot win. Okay, which means Manchester City wins. If Manchester City wins, right, this should be the score for Bayern Munich in the semi-final. This is how it should have lost. It should have scored 3, conceded 5, because Bayern Munich cannot play any more matches. So this should be the final score. Right, but if you have 3 and concede 5, there is no way that Manchester City's score will match up to this. Right, because Manchester City has conceded only 2 more goals, right, whereas Bayern Munich scores 3 goals, right. So any scenario, neither Manchester City can proceed nor Bayern Munich can proceed, which means my original assumption that PSG played against Bayern Munich and Juventus played against Manchester City was wrong. It will be the other way around. PSG will play against Manchester City and Juventus will play against Bayern Munich. Okay, so I now know all the first round matches. Okay, so Manchester City left over from 6-4, it has scored 4, conceded 1. So it will be 2-3. In the remaining matches, it will be 2-3. Right, and Bayern Munich from 7-6, you have accounted for 3-2, which means in the remaining matches, it will be 4-4. In the remaining matches, it will be 4-4. Now, if we proceed in the similar manner as the discussion earlier, right? If Bayern Munich loses here, right, 4-4 will be the goal in the rest of will be the score in the last match that it played. Now, if the match that it played is 4-4, that ends in a draw. No matches ends in a draw, right? Which means Bayern Munich cannot lose here. Bayern Munich actually reaches the final. Manchester City actually loses. And how does Manchester City lose? That will be the score. This will be the score for Manchester City in the semi-final. It will score 2, concede 3. Bayern Munich reaches the final. Right, and now we can verify the score of Bayern Munich in the final. 3-2, it beat Manchester City, so it will score 1, concede 2. And we know already that Real Madrid beats whoever comes in the final 2-1. So we have figured out all the information about all the matches in the entire tournament. Let's go to the questions and answer them. Okay, I've written this down neatly. Let's see. The maximum number of goals scored by any team in the semi-finals. Any team in the semi-final is 3 by Bayern Munich. That will be 3. Which team was the winner? Real Madrid. We have already done this. Which of the following teams had the greatest margin of victory? Goal for versus goal against. Now this is Manchester City against PSG. 4-1. That is the maximum difference. Here the difference is 2. Here the difference is 3. Everywhere else it is 1. So option B. And the last one, what is the total number of goals scored by Bayern Munich in all the matches that it had won? Bayern Munich wins quarterfinal and the semi-final. Goals scored are 3 plus 3, 6. Right? It's a very nice set. The key point was basically figuring out first Real Madrid wins. Right? Once you know Real Madrid wins, then everything else, as in life, becomes much more easier. It's a difficult level set. I will not say even it's moderate. It's a difficult set. You need to figure out quite a bit of permutations and combinations will be available over there. In an exam situation, it will take you about 12 to 13 minutes to solve this. If you get stuck anywhere with respect to preparing for LRDI, there are some free resources which are available on our YouTube channel. We have a playlist on how to prepare for LRDI. It includes which are the topics which you need to focus on, how much do you need to spend on each area. Also, we tell you how to go about picking sets in the examination, right? So if you are not able to pick even a single set, this is a good framework to start with and build on for your CAT LRDI preparation. If you want any further assistance in terms of speaking with us, getting personal guidance, doing more practice, following a more structured path to LRDI preparation, please do look at our Ultimate LRDI course. The top 6 ranked chess players in the world are Magnus Carlsen MC, Fabiano Caruana FC, Vishwanathan Anand VA, Levon Aronian LA, Sergey Karakin SK, and Vasilin Topalov. Ranked in that order, with Magnus Carlsen ranked the highest and Vasilin Topalov the lowest. So Carlsen will be 1, Caruana 2, Anand 3, Aronian 4, Karakin 5, and Topalov 6. Okay, these 6 participated in a chess tournament that was held over 5 days, Monday to Friday. Okay, on each day there are 6 matches, and over the 5 days every player plays every other player once. Okay, so it's a round robin tournament. Everyone plays everyone else once, and it's given that each of these 6 players played one game every day. So every day there are 3 matches, right? So somebody will play somebody else on that day. So for example, one day it will be MC versus FC, VA versus LA, SK versus VT. On the next day, it will be MC versus VA, FC versus SK, and LA versus VT. On the third day, it might be MC versus VT, FC versus LA, and VA versus SK. So all these different possibilities are there. So different scenarios will be there possible. Okay. So on 5 days, all the matches are concluded. Okay, in each match, the higher rank player plays with white pieces and the lower rank player plays with black pieces. Now, MC is the highest rank player. So in every match, he's going to be the highest rank player. So he's going to play with white pieces all the time. Similarly, VT is the lowest rank player. So every match that he plays is going to be he's going to play with black pieces, right? So match with FC and VA, FC will play with white. The match between SK and VA, VA will play white. Right, so all these cases are given to you. Right, in each match, the winner gets 1 point while the loser does not get any points. If the match ends in a draw, then both the players get 0.5 points each. The following table shows the cumulative points scored by each of the 6 players at the end of each day. So at the end of day 1, everyone has played 1 match. So MC has 1, LA has 1, VT has 1. Right, which means these 3 players won their match. 3 matches, 3 winners, we already know. The remaining 3 lost their match. Now MC might play against FC or VA or SK. LA might play against one of these 3, and VT will play against one of the last third remaining player. Right. Now on Tuesday, we know that MC has gone to 1.5, which means he got 0.5 points on Tuesday, which means he had a draw. FC lost again. He still has 0. VA got 1 point, which means he won a match. LA had a draw, right? Which means the next day the match is going to be between these 2, because that's the only draw on Tuesday, and these 2 players played the match. SK had a win, VT lost a match, right? He's still stuck on 1. So we'll have to figure out on each day who plays against who. And if you look at the questions, how many of these 6 players won more than 1 match with black pieces? You have to figure out who played with black. That we have to figure out using the rankings. Right, how many times did VA play with Vishwanathan Anand play with black pieces before playing Levon Aronian? Okay, so you need the schedule of the matches. Who among the following did Magnus Carlsen play on Monday? This also we need to figure out. And how many players suffered their first defeat at the hands of Sergey Karyakin? Okay. So we need to figure out what is the result in each day. So now these are cumulative points. So we have to find out on that day what was the result. So we'll quickly create a table which will basically have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So we'll have the points earned on that day. So Carlsen earned 1.5 on the next day. Third day he earned a 0. Fourth day he got 1 extra point, and fifth day he got 0.5 points extra. So that we know that on Monday he won, Tuesday he had a draw, Wednesday he lost, Thursday he had 1 point, which means he won, and Friday he had a draw. So we'll do it for all the players, and we'll also figure out what are the matches, who played against who in each of the 3 days. So let's quickly create that table. So I've summarized the information, right? And I've also created the partial table over here. Right, now I'll fill in the matches, who plays against who each day. Now, if you have played chess, you know that the first player's name is usually put with white and second with black. We will use the same convention. You don't have to play chess to do that. Even without playing chess, you can give it like a marker, because we need to figure out who's playing with white and who's playing with black. So we'll put the white name first, and person with playing with black pieces next. Also, if there is a winner, we'll mark him, we'll identify him that who is the winner, or suppose black won, we will identify that person. So we need to make sure that who won, who lost has to be marked also. Okay, now on first day, all 3 matches ended in a result. All 3 matches had a result in it. So we don't know who played against who. Like just with the first statement, we cannot figure out. Like Magnus Carlsen can beat FC or VA or SK. So we don't know that. Similarly, LA can beat any of the 3, VT can beat any of the 3. So we'll come back to this later. Now on Tuesday, there is only 1 draw. Right? There is only 1 draw, which is between Magnus Carlsen and Aronian. So we know MC versus Aronian, LA. That is 1 match, and it was a draw. MC versus LA was a draw. Right, so we have taken care of this. We still don't know who plays who here. On Wednesday, again, there was only 1 draw, which was between VA and SK. So, and VA will play white because VA is ranked higher than SK. So VA versus SK was a match. Similarly, on Thursday there was only 1 draw, again with VA versus LA. Again, VA will play with white because VA is ranked higher. This is out, this is out. And on Friday, you have 2 draws. But FC plays LA. So FC will beat LA. And FC will play with white, so I can mark very clearly FC, LA, and FC won the match. Right, so this is what we have. Now, if you observe carefully, right, LA 3 matches are already taken care of. 3 days we know LA's matches, right? So LA has 2 more matches left, 1 on day 1 and 1 on day 3, Wednesday, Monday and Wednesday. He has 2 more matches left. Now, who can he play with? LA has played against Carlsen, right? LA has played against Vishwanathan Anand, and LA has played against FC. So LA has to play against either VT and SK. LA has to play against VT and SK. Right, 1 day he will play against VT and 1 day he'll play against SK. Now, on Wednesday, he cannot play against FC because he plays on Friday. He cannot play against Carlsen because he plays on Tuesday. So on Wednesday, LA will play against VT. He will play with white and he will lose that match. So LA versus VT VT won that match. So the third match on that day will be FC versus MC, and MC lost. MC will play with white. FC will beat MC. Right, so we have taken care of Wednesday throughout. Now let's look at Monday for LA. LA has played VT. The only person left is basically SK. So on Monday, LA plays SK. He will play with white and he beat SK. So LA, SK. LA will beat SK. So we have taken care of everything of LA. We've taken care of Wednesday. Now, let's proceed further. If you look at FC and VA, they are next to each other. I mean, all the others have roughly the same number of matches played. So, if you look at FC and VA, right, when will they play? They cannot play on Monday because both of them lost the matches. In a match, one of them has to be a winner, other has to be a loser, or it has to be a draw. You cannot have two losers in a match, right? So, they cannot play each other on Monday. Can they play on Tuesday? Yes, they can play on Tuesday. VA can beat FC. That's possible. On Thursday, VA is already paired with LA. So, FC cannot play him there. Similarly, on Friday, FC has already been paired with LA. So, he cannot play VA there. So, the only time VA and FC can play is on Tuesday. And on Tuesday, VA beats FC. So, and FC will play with white. So, FC, VA. VA will win the match. Which means that the third match on Tuesday will be SK versus VT. SK will beat VT. Right. So we have taken care of Tuesday as well. Now let's continue with FC. Right. We have taken care of 3 of his matches. Now FC can play. MC has already played. MC has already played on Wednesday. Right. So FC cannot play MC on Monday. He cannot play VA because both of them lost. So the only one who he can play would be VT. He will play VT on Monday. Right. So FC versus VT, and VT will win that match. Right. Which means MC will play VA on Monday and beat him. Now, we already can answer one of the questions because that was one of the questions. Who did Magnus Carlsen play on Monday? Magnus Carlsen played VA, Vishwanath Anand. Option B will be your correct choice. Now, the remaining ones should not be very difficult to manage. Now, on Thursday, MC won. MC cannot beat FC because they have already played on Wednesday. He cannot play SK because both of them won. That is not possible. So Thursday he will have to play VT and beat him. MC will play VT, beat him. This is out. Which means SK will beat FC. FC, SK. SK will be the winner. This is out. And let's figure out who is the last day. MC cannot play VA because he's played him on Monday. He can play SK. He cannot play VT because he's played VT on Thursday. So MC will play SK. It's a draw. And VA will play VT, which is also a draw. So basically I have every single scenario. I have summarized this here. I can answer. I've already answered one question. Let's go and answer the rest of the questions. Question number 1. How many of these 6 players won more than one match with black pieces? More than one match with black pieces. Now VT plays all of his matches with black pieces and he has won 2 matches. So VT is one player who has won more than one match with a black player, with black pieces. MC does not play any match with black pieces, so he will not be there. Now let's look at FC. FC has 2 wins, right? Wednesday he won with black, and on Friday he won with white. So FC won only one match with black pieces. VA has only one win overall. So even if he won it with black, it will not count. LA also has just one win overall, so that's also out. Let's check SK. SK on Tuesday. SK on Tuesday won with white. So given even if the other one turns out to be with black, it will not count. So only VT. Only one person won more than one match with black pieces. Let's look at the second one. How many times did Vishwanathan Anand play with black pieces before playing Lebanon Aronian? So let's check when did he play LA. VA versus LA is on Thursday. So before this, on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, how many times he played with black pieces? On Monday, he played with black. That's one. On Tuesday, he played with... Monday, he played with black. That's one. Tuesday, he played with black again, and this time one. So that's two. And Wednesday, he played with white. So he played twice with black pieces. That will be your correct answer. Before playing Lebanon Aronian. And last one, how many players suffered their first defeat at the hands of Sergei Karakin? Right. So their very first defeat should be with Sergei Karakin. Now, Sergei Karakin, the first time he won is on Tuesday. On Tuesday, he plays VT. Now, VT on Monday had won. So VT's first defeat was versus Sergei Karakin. So that is one person. Now let's look at the second victory for Sergei Karakin. That is on Thursday. Who did he play on Thursday? Thursday, he played FC. Now FC had already lost with VT on Monday. So that's not FC's first defeat. That's not FC's first defeat. Right? FC had already lost to VT on Monday, and he's also lost to VA on Tuesday. So he's already suffered two defeats before he met Karakin. So only one person had their very first defeat at the hands of Sergei Karakin. So this is a very nice set, which basically, it might sound like a games and tournament set, but in reality it's more of a logical reasoning set. If I were to give these matches and give them points, and basically you need to pair them with each other, right? It's as good as a logical arrangement distribution sort of a set with a quant-based reasoning thrown in between. Okay, games and tournament is just a format. You don't need any special formulas of games and tournaments to be able to solve this particular set. Right, it requires a little bit of patience to work out this table. Once you work out this table, the questions can be solved reasonably. In an exam situation, up to 12 to 13 minutes, it's a moderate to slightly difficult set. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Click on the notifications button so that you are notified when we are releasing our next set of videos. Please do like and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. If you want to connect with us, you can connect with us through WhatsApp and Telegram as well. All the relevant links are available in the description of this particular video. This one has very little information. Karan and Arjun are playing a game where they pick up coins alternately from the coins kept on a table. The rules of the game state that each person has to pick at least one coin in his or her turn. No person can pick up more than 6 coins in his or her turn. The person who picks up the last coin from the table is the loser and the other person is the winner. Assume that both Karan and Arjun play the game intelligently so as to win the game. And if you look at the questions, first one says, if at a particular stage there are 22 coins, if at a particular stage there are 52 coins, and in third and fourth, they actually modify the rules of the game. Now, in usual coin picking, matchstick picking sort of scenarios, you usually use a formula like the main factor of the game or the controlling number of the game. All these different terminologies get thrown about, right? We will not be using that. I mean, we will rather do it in a pretty simple and intuitive way. What we'll do is we'll simulate the game. What happens if you were to play the game? That's the easiest way to solve rather than remembering formulas, etc. So let's see how to go about solving this particular set. Okay, so the first two are basically following these rules of the game. Right, so you need to find a winning strategy, assuming that both Karan and Arjun play the game intelligently. So let's see what happens if any one of you play the game, right? Suppose I am the one playing the game, right? If there is one coin on the table, right? If there is one coin on the table, I have to pick that coin. If there is at least, I have to pick up at least one coin on the table. I cannot cry and say I will not pick the game. The reason why I'm crying is because I know I'm going to lose, right? No matter what I do, I'll have to pick this coin up. I can cry around for 1 hour, then come back, I'll have to pick that and lose, right? Unless I throw away the game and walk away, which is obviously not a part of an intelligent strategy. It might be a nasty strategy, but it's not an intelligent strategy. Okay, now let's see what happens if there are 2 coins on the table, right? If there are 2 coins on the table, I'm playing intelligently. I'll put my opponent on 1. I'll pick one coin. I'll pick one coin and I'll put my opponent on 1. He will have the same tantrums that I was showing, but he will pick that coin and he will lose. He loses, which means I will win. What happens with 3? Now, I can pick 1 or 2 coins, but if I'm intelligent, I'll pick 2 coins. Why? Because I want to put my opponent at 1. If my opponent is facing 1, I know he's going to lose, right? So, win. Similarly, with 4, I'll pick 3 coins, put him on 1. 5, I'll pick 4 coins, put him on 1. 6, I'll pick 5 coins, put him at 1. 7, I'll pick 6 coins and put him at 1. All these things, I win. What happens when there are 8 coins on the table? Now, if there are 8 coins on the table, right, I cannot put my opponent at 1. I cannot put my opponent at 1. Why? Because if I pick 1 coin, I'll put my opponent at 7. If the maximum I can pick is 6, in which case I'll put my opponent only at 2. Right? So I cannot win here. Right? Worse, I'll put my opponent between 2 and 7. 8 minus 6 is 2 and 8 minus 1 is 7. So I'll put my opponent as in this range, 2 to 7. He is equally intelligent as I am. Right? So he will put me back at 1 and I will lose this game. So at 8, I'll start losing again. What happens at 9? Now, I obviously cannot put my opponent at 1, but I can put my opponent at 8. At 8, he's facing the same sort of problems as I am going to face. He will put me between 2 and 7, and inevitably, I'll go back to 1. I'll put him at 1 and win the game. So 9 I'll win, 10 I'll win, 11 I'll win. So this 8 becomes the new 1. My aim now, once I cross 8, is basically to put my opponent at 8. 12 I can put him at 8, 13 I can put him at 8, 14 I can put him at 8, 15 I cannot put him at 8. Worse, with 15, I will put my opponent in this range, 9 to 14. 15 minus 6 is 9, 15 minus 1 is 14. I'll lose again. Right. 16 becomes 16. Now 15 becomes the new 8. 8 was the new 1. So I'll win again. Right. And so on. So this is how the game continues. So your winning strategy is put your opponent either at 1 or 8 or 15. If you look at the pattern, it's a multiple of 7 plus 1. That's your winning strategy. So if you put your opponent on a multiple of 7 plus 1, you will win. Right. Conversely, if you're faced with a multiple of 7 plus 1, you cannot win. If I have 1 coin, there is no way I can win. If there are 8 coins, I cannot win. If there are 15 coins, I cannot win. So basically, this is your winning strategy for this game. Question number 1. If at a particular stage in the game, there are 22 coins on the table and it is Karan's turn to pick the coins. How many coins should he pick so as to ensure his win, irrespective of what Arjun does in the later stages? Enter 0 if it is not possible to win. Okay. Now, let's see. 22 is basically a multiple of 7 plus 1. 7 into 3 plus 1 equals 22. So it's almost like Arsenal's situation. You know they are going to end up losing the match somehow, one way or the other. Right? It's just how long you can drag it. Right? From 22, right, Karan will put Arjun between 16 to 21. Right? 22 minus 1 is 21 and 22 minus 6 is 16. Right? In all these cases, in all these cases, Arjun will basically put Karan back at 15. Right? Once Karan is at 15, he will put Arjun back from 9 to 14. Arjun will intelligently put him back at 8. Go back. Karan will put Arjun back from 2 to 7, and basically Arjun puts Karan in 1. Once Karan is at 1, he basically has to lose. Right? Nothing he can do. So there is no way out of this situation. 0 will be your correct choice. Question number 2. If at a particular stage in the game there are 52 coins on the table and it's Arjun's turn to pick up the coins, how many coins should he pick to ensure his win irrespective of what Karan does? Enter 0 if it is not possible. 52 coins, closest multiple of 7 is 49. 49 plus 1 is 50. So your aim, Arjun's aim is to put Karan at 50. You right now have 52 coins. Can you put him at 50? You have to pick 2 coins. Possible? Right, that's your answer. 2 will be your correct choice. Pick 2, put Karan at 50, and this sort of protracted game continues, but eventually Karan will be faced with 1 and he will lose. Okay, question number 3. Now, this changes the rules of the game. Additional information says the rules of the games are modified as follows. The person who picks the last coin now wins the game. Right, so now the game has turned. Everyone will basically now want to pick up that last coin. Right. So even if there is 1 coin, you will pick that coin and you'll win. If there are 2 coins, you'll pick that coin, you'll win. 3 coins, you'll pick that coin and win. 4, you'll win. 5, you'll win. 6, you'll win. I can pick all the coins and I'll win. What happens at 7? At 7, I cannot reach 0. At 7, I cannot reach 0. Right. Worse, I'll be putting my opponent from 1 to 6. I'll put my opponent at between 1 to 6. He is going to pick up the remaining coins and he'll win. So I will lose. 8. I cannot reach 0. But what I can do is I can put my opponent at 7. Right. He will then have to put me back between 1 to 6 and I'll win. So 7 becomes a new 0. Cannot win here. So 9 you will win. 10 you can put him back at 7, 11 you can put him back at 7, 12 you can put him back at 7, 13 you can put him back at 7, 14 you cannot put him back at 7. Worse, you'll be putting your opponent here. Right, you know your opponent is equally good, so he will win, you are going to lose. Right, 15, now 14 becomes the new 7, win, it will keep on continuing. So your winning strategy, put your opponent at 7, 14, next will be 21 and so on. Right. Put your opponent at a multiple of 7. If you put your opponent at a multiple of 7, you win. Conversely, if you are faced with a multiple of 7, you're going to lose. The question goes on to say, in a particular stage in the game, there are 40 coins on the table and it's Arjun's turn to pick up the coins. How many coins should he pick to ensure that he wins irrespective of what Karan does in the later stages? Right. 40, closest multiple of 7 is 35. So from 40, pick 5 coins and put Karan at 35. 5 is your correct choice. Question number 4. Again, it says the rules of the games are now modified again. Let's see how the rules are modified. In his or her turn, each person has to pick at least 2 coins now. Not 1 coin, at least 2 coins. Unless there is only 1 coin on the table, in which case he has to pick that coin. The remaining rules remain the same. Okay, so now again we back to picking the last coin as the loser. Right, it's only this rule which has changed. You cannot use this scenario again. It was only for question number 3. Right, now you can pick 1 or 2. Right, but whether you pick 1 or whether you pick 2, you have to pick at least 2 unless there is only 1 coin on the table, right? And if you are picking the last coin, you lose. Right. Now, what will happen? Again, let's simulate. If there is 1 coin, I am going to lose. If there is 2 coin, I am going to lose. You cannot pick 1 now. You can pick 1 coin only if there is 1 coin on the table. If there are 2 coins on the table, you cannot pick 1, right? So with 1 you are going to lose, 3 you are going to lose. 1 you are going to lose, 2 you are going to lose. With 3, I'll put my opponent I'll put my opponent on 1, I'll win. 4, I'll put my opponent either on 1 and 2, I'll win. 5, I'll put my opponent on 1 and 2. I can pick 4 or I can pick 3, I'll win. 6, I'll win. 7, I'll win. 8, I can pick 6 coins, put my opponent on 2, win. What happens with 9? With 9, right, you cannot put your opponent on 1 and 2. You cannot put your opponent at 1 and 2. Worse, you'll be putting your opponent from 3 to 8. 9 minus 2 equals 7. 9 minus 6 equals 3. You'll be putting your opponent between 3 to 7. All these cases, you are going to lose. 10, same problem. 10 minus 2 equals 8. 10 minus 6 equals 4. You'll be putting your opponent between 4 to 8. You're going to lose. 11. Now 9 and 10 become the new 1 and 2. 9 and 10 become the new 1 and 2. Right. So you'll put him on 9, you'll win. 12, you'll put him on either 9 or 10, win. 13, you'll win. 14, you'll win. 15, you'll win. 16, you'll win. 17, you'll lose again. 17, you'll have to put your opponent between 1 to 15. Your opponent is equally intelligent, you'll win. 18, again, you'll lose because you're going to put your opponent between 12 to 16. He's equally intelligent, he'll put you back from on 9 or 10. You get this, you'll put him back, you're going to win. Right, so 18 you're going to lose, your opponent is going to win. Right, so what's the winning strategy? Put your opponent at 1, 2, or you can put him at 9, 10, or you can put him at 17, 18. What is the scenario? A multiple of 8 plus 1 or a multiple of 8 plus 2. So if you put your opponent on a multiple of 8 plus 1 or a multiple of 8 plus 2, your opponent cannot do anything. Similarly, if you are faced with this situation, a multiple of 8 plus 1 or a multiple of 8 plus 2, you will lose. Okay, what does the question say? At a particular stage, there are 50 coins on the table and it's Karan's turn to pick the coins. How many coins should he pick to ensure his win irrespective of what Arjun does? Now 50 is a multiple of 8 plus 2. 48 plus 2. It's 48 plus 2. It's a scenario like this. And we discussed, if you are faced with a scenario like this, there is nothing you can do to ensure your win. 0 will be a right answer. Right. It's a very nice question. It's not very difficult. If you have done these coin picking sort of questions, should not be very difficult for you to answer. But I did not go through the direct formula route. Instead of that, I showed you the simulation sort of thing. I just looked at how the game will actually play out, so that even if you don't have a formula or they keep on changing the variables, you can easily use it and modify this for solving any slightly complicated questions as well. That completes this session on must-do sets for CAT LRDI preparation. Please do let us know in the comments below how you like this. Please do share this with your friends who are preparing for CAT and other MBA entrance examinations. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram and LinkedIn, or you can connect with us on WhatsApp and Telegram groups. The links are all available in the description of this particular video. If you are facing any problem with CAT LRDI sets, you can look at our YouTube channel playlist on how to prepare for CAT LRDI. If you want any specialized, personalized attention on LRDI preparation in the most structured manner, you can also look at our Ultimate LRDI course. This is the most comprehensive course which is available in the market. Till we meet again the next time, goodbye and all the best.